Welcome back to Underrated Shows, Movies, or maybe I should retitle this because I'm going to be doing shows and movies. Maybe I just call it Underrated Media. Maybe nice kind of ringtone to it. Underrated Media. Today we're going to talk about the underrated anime that I found probably one of my favorite in the universe. And it's an OVA. I think about like 12 episodes, and there's a special little mini movie that happens that takes place within the I think episodes 7 and 8, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team. And this takes place 9 years into the 1-year war in the year 0079. And it follows the conflict between the Federation and Zeon. But the main core of this story follows a young cadet named Shiro Amada, who meets a Zeon pilot. I don't remember her last name, but her name is Aina. And they fall in love. And constant encounters, has a, they fall in love and try to really keep their forbidden attraction or relationship out of the war effort. But the more times they meet and get to know one another, they, try to come up with a truce to get out of the war and try to stop their loved ones from fighting. And it's a love story. It's a love story, military war anime. And really the main focus is really on the MS team, Shiro Amada, as he becomes the leader of the team, where he's the leader of, I forgot what the characters are. There's one character who's given a bad rap for surviving every single mission. I think his name is Sanders. Surviving every single mission for the last, I think, several missions, and people are having, his fellow Federation soldiers are basically taunting him, calling him the Grim Reaper. And then there's another character who has he's trying to do a long distance relationship, and he keeps sending letters to his girlfriend, and eventually believing that, hopefully it could work out. And then there's there's some interesting characters here, but we're really driving to the core of this was probably the lead character, Shiro Amada, and then the relationship aspects of this. And what I really loved about this anime, this Mobile Suit Gundam, was that I think this is the only Mobile Suit Gundam tries to really grasp on guerrilla warfare, kind of like a squad trying to just infiltrate other Zeon facilities and places and assaulting them. And also, I guess the mechanic feels very heavy, realistic. It feels very mechanical, where you can actually feel the weight of some of these pilots, where they're handling with the Gundam. You can actually feel you could feel the heaviness to it. And there's really not like and they're not really have like a specific like Gundam that really stands out. Maybe the last 3 episodes where, well, at least episodes 9 through 12, where Shiro Amada gets a new Gundam. Honestly, I like the other one that he uses better than that one. It doesn't. It looks okay. It doesn't look all that well to me. But it's just my gripe. Ida's story. She belongs to somewhat of a royal family. Her brother is a scientist that's trained to perfect military scientist or military weapons scientist, trying to perfect this special Xeon Zaku like hovering Gundam that's kind of like a monster. It's kind of like Gundam that's kind of like an alien ship that has a special cannon that will basically destroy cities in a huge radius. Powerful weapon. And when Ida starts to, get into her, feelings of love and wanting to possibly quit the life of being a soldier, and seeing the jealousy and madness and how power driven and power hungry her brother is becoming, you see the insanity that her brother falls into, and it scares her. So you have both characters, Shiro Amada and Ida, trying to figure out ways to get out of their situation in order to possibly start a love life. You can see the struggles mostly on Shiro Amada because he's basically the main character of the story. And then really there's like a tacked on episode. There's really 11 episodes, but there's a special episode 12 that tacks on that after the events of the main story. It's more of a epilogue where it shows you towards the end of the One Great War that the Xeon actually recruited children to be a part of the war. And it really just focuses on their story of their side characters, Kiki and Mikkel. Mikkel is the one who was sending notes to his girl and eventually did, a distance. And Kiki, she is a refugee, I believe. She also develops feelings for Shiro Amada. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out. And the voice actress, I believe, if I remember, the voice actress, she voices Sydney in Jimmy Neutron. So her voice is really stood out to me when I was watching this anime. It took a while for me to kind of like, oh, that's Sydney from Jimmy Neutron. So the epilogue episode centers on Kiki and Mikkel on a mission on themselves to find if Shiro Amada somehow survived. Because towards the end of episode 11, there's a hint where they basically survive their encounter with the super weapon of Xeon. I mean, it shows that they're alive, and Shiro Amada loses a leg. There's no telling how much time has passed. It's probably been like maybe close to a year, because the next shot when you see Shiro and then Ida, they were living in a cabin, and then she's pregnant. So the story of that episode really is on kids trying to escape their involvement with the war. You see them basically pretty much just unable to be kids. You see them gone, acting like soldiers, having the ability to kill, and it's somewhat of a dark episode. Then you have this leader trying to guard this kid, these group of children, believing that Xeon will recruit them into the war, which the war is long gone, it's over, and basically make their lives hell because they experienced so many different things during the 1 year war, and their children traumatized from being soldiers in military. It's somewhat of a sad idea of an episode, and it has like a heartwarming kind of ending to where of moving on, and it does feel like an episode that's tacked on. Really concludes with the episode 11, but it's a tacked on episode. And it's a good episode. It's a good episode, but does it really need to be there? Not necessarily, but it does deal more, I think, death and the possibility that the war was tough on basically everybody. And then there's a special movie called Miller's Report. It's a 50-minute movie. It's a recap movie, and I'm kind of split on recap movies when Japan, when they do that with animes, where they would have a certain character basically recap certain events of the series, and basically they would just expand their perspectives on what the war's done to them, and it's just an extra filler. And Miller's Report focuses on a reporter. Takes place after episode 6, I believe. No, episode 7. After episode 7, where Shiro Amada is basically being court-martialed for his encounter with Ida, and for not bringing bringing Ida in for questioning, and because on camera you kind of saw they let him go. And the reporter is so, I guess, she doesn't like Shiro. So she's willing to do everything she can to the point of it would possibly ruin Shiro's reputation. To the point towards the end of the movie, you even see her pointing a gun towards him and wanting him to just be humiliated. And that's a character I just did not like. I didn't like the reporter character. I want her gone. It's an interesting. It's an interesting aspect of the story. Honestly, I felt like it could have been in the show a bit, but with the movie, it kind of feels tacked on. Maybe if they add into the show, it would have been tacked on as well. But I feel like if they edited it to where it was part of the main 11 episodes, maybe it could have been 12 or 13. Maybe there could have been more just depth going on with Shiro and then all the other characters on the MS team respecting the main character. But it does feel kind of tacked on. But it was still a good mini movie nevertheless, which I would recommend watching it if you have an interest in checking this out. If you're a fan of Gundam, to me this is one of the best Gundam series. I mean, I have a few favorites, but I haven't seen every single one. Just because I thought this one was grounded in realism, and they try to do things a little bit differently with guerrilla warfare. I mean, I think this anime came out in 94 or 95. Or sure, 98. Somewhere around that time. Not long. But I thought it was pretty good anime. And I also love the score. The score of this was magically phenomenal. Like it's beautiful, which makes me respect this anime even more. It feels very classical, like old school, kind of like storytelling. Where I feel like the music gets a little bit classy and artistic, and mostly violin music. It feels very military, war-like music for a war show, for a war movie. And I don't normally get that vibe watching other Gundam shows. I've seen Gundam 00, Gundam Wing, which is my favorite G Gundam. I've seen the TV movies of the original Gundams of 0079. And I've seen, I think, War in Your Pocket. I think that one. I've seen bits and pieces of that. But 8th MS Team, I think, is one of the rare, underrated Gundam shows that are out there that tries to do something a little bit different with the Gundam franchise. The 8th MS Team, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated anime series.